All right, I think let's get started. So, welcome to the RSGN Regional Scrum Gathering Nepal 2022. Uh, please, next slide. All right, so today I'm going to talk about the habits, in a way, efficient habits that makes you more stronger and gives you more power to boost. And it's basically a learning and the journey that I have been through till now. So I'll be focusing on the efficiency and a bit of how you can progress and how you can take to other level of your professional career. So I'm Mukesh Singh. I'm Mukesh Singh, currently associated with COTIVITI, and you can see lots of logos over there. So these are all the communities I have associated with. So the right corner, Agile Nepal is one of the communities that I'm heavily engaged with, and similar to that, Atlassian. I'm the community leader for Miro, Tableau as well. Apart from that, I have listed a couple of my certifications that really valued in my life. So the first one is I am SAFe Certified Architect. Next one is I am Management 3.0 Facilitator. And I was the only, but there are a couple of fellows who joined the club. So now there are lots of people. And I'm Certified Agile Leader. And next one is Certified Scrum Master, most of you may have. And the last one is SAFe Certified Practitioner. So which means I'm associated with multiple diversified kind of categories, I would say, in the technologies field. So I'm associated with technologies, I'm into architect side, I'm into agile leadership, I'm into a bit of a Scrum, and we are practicing SAFe as an organization, as COTIVITI. So let's talk more about me a little bit. So I graduated in 2005, and then I started my journey as a software trainee in 2005 itself. So why I'm sharing this? Because it was an era of 2005. It was 2000 age, right? And it was very nominal or very minimum opportunities to get into the market when you are getting ready from your academic careers. So, and I just wanted to, what would say? When I joined as a trainee, my salary was 2,500 NRP, right? So that was the era, and it was actually the opportunity. Who wins was the factor at that time. So, and gradually I started my own company. I founded with a couple of my friends, but somehow we failed. And we have to, again, I started the job career as a software engineer. I worked in a company for 2 years, and then I moved to other companies in 2010 to 2012. I worked as a tech lead. And just, I wanted to keep some references here. Like when I was software trainee, I was working on .NET and my MS SQL platform. And then as a founder, we have nothing specific to do. We have lots of things to do. So every bit of thing you have to do. So coding you have to do. You have to get the markets. You have to get the business. You have to sell your product. Or you have to sell your services and all. And the next, when I moved to another role, that was project manager. I was doing a project management role as a technical. So there you can see all sort of technologies and all sort of practices that we have currently was my adoption, because I had to do that kind of role. And after that, for a couple of years, I moved to India to see how the market is there in India, how they work, what are the factors they bring, and why they are into market bigger than us in a value in deliveries and in other contexts. And then again, due to some constraint, due to some family issues and all, I moved back to India, Nepal, and currently I'm associated with COTIVITI. It's been 4.5 years, and I'm currently taking role of senior engineering manager. There I'm leading the R&D team, and lots of things. And I have written there, it's not clearly written, but I have written enabler, mentor, and coach. Right? So I'll be talking a bit about more in detail in the next slides. So let's talk about who are the effective persons. So not only the developers. So in general, who are the effective persons? And just wanted to know how many of you are here in the role of software developers. Okay, good numbers. All right. So the effective persons means those who get the things done. But what's new on that? Everybody do the things, right? So the second point is effective individuals produce results. Quite obvious, everybody does, right? If you're working, you definitely produce something, right? But the main point here is efficiency is doing the things right, and effectiveness is doing the right things. So much variance in both of the wordings, right? Yeah. And the second thing is adopt the right mindset. So what does this mean? This means even if you have multiple skills, even if you speak fluent English, even if you understand or know multiple languages, you might not get where you wanted to be. Because you might not be ready, or your mind is not at the right places, right? So your mindset is the biggest factor for your success or failure, right? So the next, focus on the high leverage activities. So I just wanted to give you the literal meaning or literal definition of the leverage. So the leverage means the impact produced over time spent. That means what you do and how long will you take, that really matters. And that's the leverage, right? So we might have heard or we might have encountered such kind of situations where people are coming with 10 years of experience, but he's not getting hired, right? Because he has 10 years of experience. And what we are looking for, we want, let's say in a job vacancies, it is written that we want a people with 10 years of experience in these skill sets, right? The people, one is turning into interview and has 10 years of experience. They have all sorts of skills that you are asking for. Otherwise, he or she might be rejected at the first screening, right? But somehow he has that capabilities. He has, so if you are not going through any sort of preliminary shortlisting processes or maybe telephonic interview or any such kind of activities, they will come to interview, and fortunately, if you get everything, you will hire him. Otherwise, you have to say sorry, right? So that means it's not only how much time you have spent it in the market or how much skill you do have, right? It's all about the impact that you are creating, right? So that means leverage means the time you have invested and the outcome, the impact you are producing. So here we have how to measure your leverage, or how to measure how you are progressing or where you wanted to head. So this scale is a unit of measurement, right? So what this slide or 3 points says, use the leverage as your yardstick for effectiveness. So measure your effectiveness, how effective you are being over the time. You are spending your time, you are getting your skills. So how to do this? So the second, it's a statement. You may have heard it quite often. So the 80% of the impact comes from 20% of the work. How many of you do believe that? Right? Yeah, it's obvious. And the third point says focus on high leverage and not just easy wins. So what people feel or they take as a shortcut, I would say. Right? So people wanted to win the smallest things, right? So don't focus on the small wins always try to aim high and try to win the biggest chunk, right? It may not sound that easy, right? Or may not be realistic. Is it so? All right. So the sum for all the things that we just discussed is for the optimizing your learnings. So what does this mean? This means, so I have written a strong statement here. Hope this might not be offensive. So my statement is, optimizing for learning is high leverage. As we know what is leverage means. And the first statement, I want to just justify the first one with the second one. So if you are not feeling that you are learning on your daily life, quit the job. You should believe, you should make yourself understand that I'm not learning means I'm not progressing, right? So quit the job. It's a very strong statement. It might look not real, not obvious, but this should be within you if you feel that I'm not progressing or I'm not learning. Because even though you have 10 years of experience, even though you have lots of stakes as a skill set, but you don't have the progressive environment, you should not be staying there. You should just quit the job. Next one, please. So in earlier slide, we had a word, mindset. So how to adopt a growth mindset? Right? There might be a question on the slide itself. So the growth mindset will start from talking to people. So talk to people. So what does talk to people means? Just randomly go to the street, catch somebody and start talking. No. So start talking means start within your team, within your organization, within your community, within your city, whatever you can leverage up to, right? And the second thing is intelligence and a skill. So the only skill is the key factor to make you intelligent. If you don't have a skill set, you will not supposed to tell yourself that I'm intelligent. Is it right statement? Skills make you intelligent. Is it true statement? Right. So, and the third one is try to say your own stories. Don't run behind any other's story. Don't read lots of biographies. Right? Make your own biographies. Because if you have 5 years of experience, you have been through 12 months and 365 days in 1 year. And every day, every single moment, every seconds you spent, you have a story. Right? So don't try to run behind others' story. Try to make your own stories and share with your friends. This will inspire others and this will give benefits to you. Right? So it's not only about growing yourself. Right? So the next slide we have is invest in the rate of learning. So here we have 4 points. Learning compounds. What does compound means? Great. Okay, that means never stop learning. Add your learning volumes by compounds, like compound interests. What does that mean? Principle, addition of interest. Again, principle, adding of interest. Right? That means if you have one skill set, try to brush up that and add another skill set on top of it. Right? That way, you will leverage to the learning compounds. And next one is opportunity costs. That means if you are taking any of the opportunity based on your skill set, based on your intelligence, based on your experience, your appearance, or whatever you call it, right? Try to encash the opportunities. If you lost the opportunities, this will cost you. If you grab the opportunity, that will give cost to you. That means it's a kind of process. It's called ratchets also, right? So that means if you are earning the opportunities, based on your skills, based on your knowledge, based on the years of experience you have leveraged. So based on that. And next one is profitability. So profitability here means it's not directly related to financials, but if you have enough experience, enough knowledge, skill sets, and all sorts of knowledge or leveraging your knowledges, that will definitely give you profitability in either learning or in the financials as well. So the next one is invest in activities. So what does this mean? So activity doesn't mean go and play football, cricket, basketball, no. So activity that you are intended to, being as a developer, being as your own subject matter, you should be doing a sort of activities that you are interested into, or you are into the sector that you are working for, right? And the next one is seek for environments conducive to learning. So there are 4 bulleted points. I would say these are 4 silver bullets that everyone should adopt. So the first thing is growth. So growth means the companies in these particular eras, I would say, it's highly emerging. Everybody is growing. So in this era, the biggest problem for the companies are the resources, right? Everyone is looking for resources to fill in their companies. They are so high, right? So when there are crunches of resources, you have opportunity to grab the high impact work, right? Because there are lots of projects coming and people are looking for new resources. So that means we are crunch of people and we have work. So that is an opportunity to grab the new work, and that would give you some kind of, what we call that, a growth, right? Because you are going to learn something new. You are going to learn something new. You are going to work on something else than what you are doing or whatever your regular learning is. And second one is openness. So simple thing, if you don't feel curious of what you are doing, right? Because people are motivated with 2 factors. One is money, which is extrinsic. It will never give you happiness. The day, the month when you get growth, even 100%, that will last for 1 month only, till the second month salary you're withdrawing, right? And second one is intrinsic motivation. That means if you get to learn something, if you get to leverage something, if you get to impact yourself, you grow, you feel like you are growing, and your aim should be always higher. And if you are reaching that way, that could be your success point. So if you feel that the culture where you are working doesn't have a culture of openness, or you are not feeling, curious, you are not feeling to know what is going around in the company. So that kind of environment you should avoid, right? So then next one is fast pace. Because in a company, let's say in your team you are working with 10 people. So you are one of them, right? If you slower your pace, the other 9 people will overtake you overnight, because they are into process of learning, adapting things, right? So always keep yourself on fast paced of learning, because every day new technologies are coming, new languages are coming, right? You need new kind of skill set to jump to another companies, right? And the last one at this point is autonomy. So autonomy means you have to be autonomous while you are working. That means you should not be working as a manual process that it used to be happen 10 years back. So we'll come to that point again in more depth. Yeah, so few points here. So while you are on job, what you are supposed to do. So the first point is make a habit of acquiring new skills, right? And the second one is read code written by brilliant engineers, because everybody has an ideal, right? Or everybody is following somebody, right? and somebody. So if you feel that that person is doing really great, or it could be anybody. It could be from a guy from Facebook, Google, Twitter, or whatever it is. Follow them and try to learn their code, practices, how they're doing, and understand why they're doing it, right? And third thing is jump fearlessly into code you don't know. So what most people do is they don't want it to touch the code of production, right? Because if it fails, what happened? And it's not only your part of job. It should be the environments, the openness that we just discussed. That means they are allowing you. You are safe to fail. That kind of environment, that kind of culture you should have within your organization. So it's not only for the developers or the engineers who work there, but for the management also. So they should be supportive enough to let you fail, right? Because nobody wanted, or nobody is intended to fail, right? But while doing, your hand will get dirty, right? So somebody, if you fail someday, so it should not be a worrying point for you, or you should not be get scolded by your managers or your management. The next one is always be learning. The second point, invest high demand skills. Invest in high demand skills. If you are aimed to take up to higher level, to next level of what you are doing, because everybody has a goal in their mindset. Everybody has to travel up. Let's say you are a software developer. Might be you are trying to, your goal is to be an architect. So there are lots of paths, right? So it's not like you are a developer, you will directly jump to architect, right? Because for architect, you need so many skill sets. You need different programming languages, could be one part of it. You need to know the different patterns, design patterns. You need to know different architecture styles, right? You need to understand the pipelines, the automations, right? So these sorts of things will differentiate from person A to person B, right? And read books. So read books, not only the subject matters, right? Try to learn books that will enhance your knowledge in other way as well. So maybe soft skills, right? So only reading your particular language may not help you, right? To take up your next journey that you are trying to, right? And attended conferences. So taking this conference example, if you are attending this, you are likely to attend at least 10 different subjects. And you are, at least if you are getting 1 or 2 takeaways points from each of the sessions, you will be getting at least 20. That will help you, right? And the last point is build and maintain a strong relationship with everybody you work with. So not only with the companies, not only with the management or HR, build relation with anybody, because nobody knows when you are moving to your next level, right? So you might be needing help from everybody. So be tightly in relationship. Make a smaller group of relationship, but take it as a continuity. So these are the points that you should consider while you are working. So next one is prioritize regularly. So we talked lots about so many things. So how to now progress over them, or how to prioritize, because we are working so many things at the same time, and everything seems high priority for us, right? So 3 things only. So prioritize your opportunity at first place, right? So how to grab the opportunities? Could be your internal organizations, could be from outside, right? If you're not enjoying at all, you can take the other opportunities. Move on, right? And next one is ROI, which is return on investment. So the investment that you have done to acquire new knowledges, new skill sets, right? New style of life, new anything that you have. So leverage that and try to encash them, right? Otherwise, you have spent 20 years of career in particular things and you are not at the right place, means you have no return, right? So it should be very much focused on the ROI as well. So activities means, so activity doesn't only means playing or doing the sports things, right? So activity means a kind of workshop you can attend or you can be a part of. Be a speaker in some of the events. Show off your talents, right? Sell yourself. Be in the communities. Showcase your talents within the community. Be within community. Network with lots of people, not only within your country, maybe. Now the virtual era, we can connect to anybody, right? So be in a communication frequently. Be some part of some activities. So on to-do list. This means have one single to-do list. So what we do, at office we have a one note, right? At mobile we have another note. At desktop we have other, right? Or maybe on laptops we have different to-do lists. So that means we are not taking care of anything at one moment of time, right? So it's you who will manage yourself. So have one to-do list and put all of your tasks there and then pick the one which is highest priority for you. So maybe 2 tasks from your companies, maybe 2 tasks for your own personal development, personal growth, maybe a couple of tasks maybe for your families. So even eventually have your goals, have your objectives, have your missions, your visions towards your life. Your personal goal could be, right? Your organization's goal could be. So have one single note, right? And second thing is, don't stress your mind. Don't try to put everything in your mind, because your mind is very bad at remembering things, right? So do the only tangible things. Do the only, remember the things that is really useful and that can be, give you more value. And next we have is, ask yourself regularly, what is the most important thing that you wanted to consider or you should be working with. So the first one is, focus on what directly produces value. So you have to focus on the value that is your intention. It could be personal, it could be professional, it could be your any kind of objectives you are taking into, right? So, and the one biggest problem is we don't say no, right? Even though we are engaged with one work, if somebody come and tell you, do this, okay, right? So that's the biggest problem that we have, right? And this is quite obvious. So try to avoid the non-urgent thing and get on to the biggest thing or the impacted one that will give you some values, right? And second thing is, when possible, preserve large block focused on your daily schedules. That means even if you are at office, you book your calendar for your high priority things, right? Maybe you should book your calendar if you have a culture of, if somebody wanted a meeting, they will see your calendar first. If you're free, then they will schedule meeting, right? Otherwise, they will not do that. So if you have something to do in your day or daily or weekly, let's plan it and block your calendar for that particular things, right? Let's say you are leveraging your learning skills. So put 1 hour of schedule in your calendar as a learning hour, right? And next one is, limit the amount of work in progress. So what we do is, we take all sorts of jobs in a bucket and you are thinking which one to take on priority. So that is also you are wasting your time, right? So try to pick the one which you can deliver, and then pick another. So your work in progress should always be limited. Even I'll recommend not to pick 2 jobs at the same time. So pick one, deliver it, and then pick another. So this will help you to manage, this will help you to deliver with quality, right? So what if you were eating and somebody asked you to sing? Even though whatever the brilliant singer, whatever the reputed singer he or she is, she might not do the multitasking at the same time, because you are speaking from mouth and you are taking input from mouth, right? So the next thing is, cost of context switching is very high. So the example is Wi-Fi. Let's say you have a Wi-Fi at home and suddenly your router disconnected. Even though you have another router as a backup, it will take time to switch, right? So in that particular moment of friction of second, that will do something disastrous. Not for the general work, but maybe for something very dependent things. Let's say you are working on space industries, aircraft industries. So friction of second can distract, or it can make a disastrous. Right? Next one is, obviously, prioritization is really difficult task. So when you have 10 tasks in your bucket and you are trying to prioritize it, every task will looks like the same priority, right? But you have to focus on which will carry the most value. That should be on top of, right? On top of. So prioritize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe depending on the circumstances, situations, the priority may be vary. So if you have to pick the 5th one into 2nd or 1st, that's okay, no problem. Because that is driven by the situations, the times, right? The requirements. And the last one is, prioritization is high leverage and it has a huge impact. It will give you ability to write things done, right? So these are the most important things that you should be working to be an effective person. So now, invest in iteration speeds. So what does this mean? This means you have to grow, you have to make yourself highly competitive, and you should make your sprint. So a sprint, example for a sprint or iteration is like the time-bounded thing. So try to bound the time that you are trying to leverage in your life. So it could be your personal visions, missions, objectives. It could be your professionals. It could be your learning skills. It could be anything that you are working with, right? So always leverage on the continuous deployment. That means the automation, which we discussed earlier. The next point is, and that the autonomy or the continuous deployment will help you save your time by doing the things in automation. It is continuous improvement process, right? And the third one is, move fast to learn fast, right? Because even if you fail, you are learning something, right? And failing fast is much better than not doing anything, right? Because you are failing means you are acquiring another way of doing it right? Because if you fail at one particular practices, at the same time you learn that practice was not good for me, or maybe that few supportive things were not there which made you fail, right? Next one is, move fast and break the things. It's okay to break the things. So in development, in the development task, what we do is, we write the code, we deliver it quickly, but some technical depth still remains there, right? So don't worry about it. You don't need a nitty-gritty, the perfect thing, right? That's why you call MVP, right? Minimum viable product. That is small work, but you are delivering it fast. Why? We'll learn about this in next slides as well. So moving fast enables you to build things that learn faster, right? And invest in time-saving tools. So I will talk about these tools in later slides. So this is just connecting things here. Yes. So if you do something more than twice, then it's high time that you have to adopt a tool or you have to create a tool, because you are repeatedly doing the same thing. And if you are repeatedly doing the same coding, same class files, right, same functions, that means you are doing the manual processes, right? Let's say you have to write 10 pages of codings. You are repeating mostly 5 pages of codings every time, right? So if you are intended or you are doing the things, similar kind of things twice, at third place you have to stop yourself and you have to either adopt a tool or you have to create a tool that will leverage you autonomous, right? And so the tools will enable you to have a new kind of workflow, right? So maybe a similar kind of task is coming and little bit tweak is necessary, you can do it quickly, right? That will give you another workflow, right? Second thing is that will shorten your debugging and validations loop, because you have the autonomous system, you have the tool, and that is doing correctly for you, right? So that means you don't need to do the regression test again. So just one quick test, unit test will be enough, right? Third thing is extra time for debugging. It will solve that problem with autonomous tools. And you know the debugging is very hard, right? So the fast unit tests to encourage people to run them. So encourage people to write the unit tests. If you don't practice then it's time to start practicing the unit tests, because you have the requirement, you know the boundary conditions. So put the unit test that will make your life easier, that will give the right thing that you are intended to be. And the same thing is the fast and incremental compiles and reloads. It reduces the development time, definitely. And faster you can iterate, the faster you can learn. And that will save you time to invest in other new skill sets. So now, how to measure what you wanted to improve? So the measuring factors are, use the metric to drive your progress, right? And the second thing is, if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it, right? So you have to, like, we may have practices in our organizations like OKRs. That means we have objective and we have key responsibilities, right? So that means every objective has a measurement criteria. Let's say you have 1 page of objective. Can you measure it? No, because it's theoretical. So your goal should be always smart enough, right? That should be measurable at first place. If it is not measurable, you will lost somewhere, right? So your progress should be measurable, and it should be up to the point that you can measure whether I'm progressing up or down or not at all. The third point is good metrics. So have a good metrics. This will help you to focus on right things only. So don't have erroneous number of objectives in your list. Just have couple of, but it should be measurable and you can get the value out of it. The next one is, it drives forward progress. This will help you to guard against future progresses. And performance rating. So if you are not up to the mark on your objective, your performance will be degraded without any question. Next one is, bad metrics can lead to unwanted behavior. So that means if you have a bad matrices, if you are not getting the matrices right, if you are intended to progress, if you wanted to learn something, if you are not getting up to that point, your behavior may be something else, right? And the last one is, examples. Let's say the hour of work is equal to your productivity. You work for 8 hours, 9 hours in a day. All are your productive hours? No. Very high chance. If somebody is telling you that I'm working 8 hours completely with same productivity, either he's lying or he don't know what productivity means. Productivity doesn't mean you are sitting on the monitor and you are writing something. Yeah, it may be the case for typewriters. Right? They are writing 8 hours on typewriters and they are producing something. Right? So validate your ideas early and often. This means if you are not validating your ideas timely, either you are not focused on what you are trying to get, or what you are not clear about your objective, right? So, or you are not wasting your efforts at the right place, at the right things, right? So, whatever you are doing. So, what do we mean by feedbacks? We do very quickly, right? We do at least in a month, in a year, in a quarter or so. So that means we are validating our job, our responsibility, what I'm doing, right? Somebody is giving me feedback means I have some opportunity to improve, right? What if you stop getting feedbacks? Let's say you are working in a company, it's been 2 years, and nobody has given you feedback, which means what? You are excellent. You don't have anything to improve, right? But that practice is killing you at the same time, because everybody is intended to take to next level. That means you have something to improve, right? So if somebody is not improving or somebody doesn't have improvement, so be aware of that kind of people if you're asking for feedbacks and they're not providing you actual feedbacks or your growth, or they're not finding any opportunity within you. He may be your very close best friends, or maybe your girlfriend. Even in case of girlfriends, she will find lots of negative things in you. So in context of professionalism, if you are asking for feedback, or be very much generous to give feedbacks to others, right? Because feedbacks give you opportunity to progress, to improve, right? And next one is, yes, this is what we just talked about. So don't delay the feedbacks. Get the feedbacks frequently, right? It could be casual, it could be in a professional way. It could be anything. So you ask your friend for a favor, can you give me some feedbacks, right? And next one is, find low effort ways to validate work. So if you're doing a small work, or if you are planning to do something new, right? That needs your validation. So it doesn't mean you reach out to every individual and ask feedback about that work. No. So try to make it minimal. So there are plenty of ways. So you can ask your team members, all of them, okay, I'll be sending you an email. Please provide me feedback. Or you are developing one product. So like Google, what they are doing is that they are releasing beta, right? So within the very closed user group, and they are getting feedbacks, whether to launch that product in the market or not, right? So similar to that, we can focus on our personal life or in professional life as well. So power of a small batches, so do everything in a small. So if you wanted to progress, start with a small, right? And then take it to any level. Next one is approach problem iteratively. That means the things that we just discussed. The iterative means the time bounded, set a time for everything and try to get the feedbacks, right? And work on the feedbacks. You know how to prioritize, right? So based on that prioritization, you can have the leverage to improve yourself on daily basis. And no large implementations at one time. So take small steps and then push yourself. The last one is working solo. If you are working solo, don't worry. right? Be extra vocal and get the feedbacks. That will be enough. So the feedback here, the emphasis is on the validations. So validations come from feedbacks, right? So whether you are developing a product, you need feedback from customers. If you're working professionals, you need feedback from your peers, your friends, your managers, your management, or whoever it is.
What should be the best approach if the feedbacks are contradicting?
Not every feedback is generous. You might receive feedback and it could vary person to person, right? Because you may not have relationship with every individual in the same level, right? Somebody who don't like you at all, they will give you always negative feedbacks, right? So it's you who will validate that feedback from others. Do I look like this? Or my behavior is this? Am I seriously hampering the team? Am I really bad at this? Right? But if you are getting good feedbacks, if you can sense it yourself, like let's say you are timely going to office, you are behaving very good with everybody, and somebody is telling that you are arrogant. That means either he don't know you at all, or he don't like you at all. Right? So it's okay. Get the feedbacks. Have the feedbacks, list of feedbacks. Taking feedbacks is good, but it's you who will prioritize the feedbacks, right? So now improve project estimation skill. This is another skill that you should acquire as a efficient engineer or efficient developer. So how to estimate? So be aware of the mythical man-month estimation. So it used to happen like 1 month, if one person will work, this project can deliver in a month. If 2, then 15 days. Do you really believe this will happen or this will help you today? No, because you know the potentials of people, right? You have the leave information at front, right? And you can get the right working hours or working agreement, and based on that, you can calculate the estimation, right? Or we can break down the tasks. Like we never do the estimation as a whole. Let's say we have to make this building, right? It's not like producing software. One simple mistake can lead you working throughout the day, throughout the night, right? Someday, if you are highly productive, you can do 1 week of task within a day, right? So estimation, so it will, so best estimation or the good estimation that will reduce your risk cycle. And rewrite the project almost always fail. So that means, let's say I have A program and I wanted to make the similar program in B, right? Similar program B, just the next thing. So if you say, oh, okay, it was built in 3 months, now the same project can be built in 3 months. So that is very likely to be fail at next time, because the people are not same. The technologies you are choosing not same, right? If you have to do the same thing, why you need to rewrite that, right? So additional hours hurts productivity. If you're asking your developers to come in weekends, that will hamper on your Mondays, right? Because if you just observe yourself, on Friday everybody is feeling like it's enough, I need some rest, right? So that's the tendency of human behavior, human body, that will not burn as they are intended to, right? Do the riskiest tasks first. So what we do is, when we have a chunk of tasks, a list of tasks, and if we sense that this task is very new, take that first. And in our organization, what we practice, we take it and we do POC. We'll take this to one team. Okay, let's do it POC. That will validate you whether you can do the task within the stipulated estimation or not. Because this may be related to new technologies, new way of working, or could be new thing that you need to learn. So that will definitely take times, right? So the riskiest job you should take on the priority, right? And allow buffer room for the unknowns. So while you are estimating, if you feel or if you sense that these are the tasks, these are new to us, allow some time for them. And put estimation in the similar way, that these are some kind of tasks which may require extra time, right? So don't estimate as in conventional way. So next one is balance quality with pragmatism. So now we are talking about the quality, right? We know how to estimate, how to improve, how to learn, how to grow, how to choose carefully, how to leverage. So this means the two thing is listed here on priority. The first one is high code quality, which is also code reliability. The second thing is establish sustainable code review process, right? So you have to review all your codes before sending into other environment than the development, because it can break your whole system, right? So you should have a good practices to do the code reviews. Second thing is sharing of working knowledge within your team. So you should not be isolated, and in our general practices what it is the senior most people who are taking the whole knowledge within himself, and that is high dependent for any organization. So it should be shared among other peoples. And increase the long-term agility. And next one is manage the complexity through abstraction, right? So the technologies are moving very fast. So dive into model into two. So formal aspect and informal aspect. So formal aspect means method signatures, public variables, and informal aspect means do understand the side effects, the algorithms, and the effect of the behaviors. So an example of orchestra. So orchestra has lots of instruments, and that will give us one single output as a song, as a symphony, as a rhythm, right? Which is very complex itself. Okay, so I'd like to stop here. So just a few slides. So it's the automation, we already talked about it. So just move on. So technical debt means the work we are doing as a dirty, we are living as a dirty codes. We should clean it up, we should improve it, we should revamp your architecture. So architecture is evolving. So at some point of time, if you feel that your architecture need to revamp, just do it. Yeah, so reduce operational complexity means keep number of technologies low as much as possible. Don't fascinate with lots of new technologies. Be with the technologies that you really need it. If you need, adopt it, do it. Fail fast means learn fast, right? Automation, we talk a lot about it, right? And invest in your team's growth. That means hire good people always and have a sharing, knowledge sharing or learning culture within your organization. That will make your team stronger and that will give you growth. All right, so I'll not go with this. So please, next slide. So this is the last slide. 10 books must read. Please go through some of it and you will get good idea of what we just discussed. This will give you very good sense. With this, I'm done with the presentation. Thank you very much for being with us.